Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Namaste, namaste.
Namaste, sir. Can you please introduce yourself before we begin with the questions?
Thank you very much, Anchal. I am Ambassador Pradeep Kapur. I have worked in the Indian Foreign Service as a diplomat and as an ambassador in almost all the continents of the world, with a large number of Indian prime ministers also, including Shri Atal Vajpayee ji, Shri Narasimha Rao, Shri Manmohan Singh, and also with a very large number of presidents and prime ministers from all the other countries, including the current prime minister of Cambodia, the earlier president of Chile, the prime ministers of Nepal, the prime minister of Zimbabwe, and many other such leaders, very close quarters, all my career, and have had the blessing and the gift to work for our country, our Matrabhumi, India, in these different places and countries to foster our relations with those countries and with the regions, other regions of the world. So that has been a great blessing and a gift. After that, I continue to work in different capacities as strategic advisor to Intellect Design Arena, which does a lot of work in the national digital financial infrastructure space in India and in many countries of the world. I'm also chairman, advisory council for diplomacyindia.com. I also work as chairman of the directors, ambassador circle in the American Hindu Coalition, and I am the executive director for the Smart Village Development Framework of Wheels Global Foundation, besides being a professor and academic. Thank you.
So, sir, what are the best practices that India should adopt for rural development?
Namaste, Anchal, and thank you for hosting this interview,
Thank
and
you,
to
sir.
Cyber Media team for the great work that you guys are doing. We appreciate that very much. The best practices, we have to actually collate all that is available in the knowledge base of India and the world. So one of the mechanisms for best practices that we are proposing is to set up an Indian Institute of Development,
Mhm.
like the IITs or IIMs or the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, which will have a global recognition, a global brand. It'll have branches in all the states of India. It will be based in the rural community. It will be a global institute of excellence for leadership development and rural studies. And it will bring together a portal and a platform for understanding the best practices and disseminating the best practices for everybody's knowledge and implementation. Also, in the conference which we are organizing, we are going to announce a best practices competition, which will be launched all over India, all over the world, rural areas, including in Africa, Asia, and other countries of other continents, so that we learn globally from each other and share the knowledge about best practices.
That sounds great. So, can you tell us more about this Ideal Village Conference and what is the grand vision behind this?
So, this Ideal Village Conference, what are we trying to achieve? We are trying to firstly bring together all the stakeholders. We call them basically development accelerators, DAs, because the government is on one side, the rural, the people who are helping in the process are on the third side. Now we put them all on the same side. So the government, the rural community, the NGOs, the corporate sector, the media, the rural development banks, the civil society organizations, banks, corporate houses, everybody together, thinking, working, planning, executing together. Smart village. What we mean by ideal village or smart village, the definition of smart village, which we have coined in Wheels, is S for scalable and sustainable. M for measurable, so that
Mm.
you can evaluate the impact being made, the success parameters, etc. A for accessible for the rural community, and applicable, not just drawing room or lab sort of designs. R for replicable and spreading all over the world. T is for leveraging technology, because we are from the IITs
Right.
and our strength is the IITs, but we have to involve the rural community to creating these smart villages. These are not smart cities, these are not smart corporate sectors, these are just smart villages with the machines. So, thank you.
Okay, so can you give me a brief of the background of Wheels Foundation? What does it
So,
do?
the
Yeah.
Wheels Foundation was set up with very, very noble aspirations.
Okay.
And the inspiration was a very noble soul called President Abdul Kalam of India.
Mm.
He asked the IIT alumni, you people have done very well for yourselves. You people have contributed a lot to the USA. You people have contributed a lot to other countries, including India. Job creation, employment, innovation, startups. Silicon Valley, more than 28% is basically Hindu Americans doing the creations there. Now, what are you doing for the rural community of India? What are you doing for the poor people in the rural communities in India? That was the question he asked. That was a thought which triggered off wheels. Now, we are teaming up with organizations like Stanford University, the IIT ecosystem from which many of us are products, and many other organizations all over the world to bring in the best practices to India. And wheels, as you know, stands for W for water, H for healthcare, E for education, E for energy, L for livelihoods, S for sustainability. So we talk about all this and we see how to impact development and growth in the rural areas. So, how do we transform rural areas, which will then foster economic growth in a sustainable and global manner everywhere? So, that is the aim. And how do we impact 20% of the rural population by 2030 by scaling up these efforts, by roping in big organizations like the Wheels Foundation, the biggest in the world, of course, in rural development is the government of India. So we are partners with the government of India in many states, in Himachal Pradesh, in Gujarat, in Madhya Pradesh, and in the center with Ministry of Panchayati Raj, with Niti Aayog, and with the NIRD, National Institute of Rural Development. So we want to evolve, a common platform, a lot of consensus, bring in a lot of strengths, bring in a lot of synergies, and forge ahead to achieve this very, very ambitious goal of 20% of India's rural population, for example, which if you consider that the rural population is 897 million, 20% of that is going to about 179 million people. So that is our big, big picture.
That's great. So, how will it help rural communities get the facilities they need?
So, if I am part of the rural community, I do not want to be seen as a person who's receiving aid
Mm-hmm.
and help
Mm-hmm.
and support. I want to feel that I'm a partner in the dialogue, I'm a partner in the discussion, and I'm a contributor. So, how do I empower the rural communities so that they feel empowered to contribute to the global economy in a very significant manner? Because for India also, to achieve its goal of $5 trillion GDP in the next few years is not possible without empowering this rural community into becoming net assets for the country. So that is the way we will help the rural community to be proud and to become active agents of change. Thank you.
That sounds great. And anything else you would like to add and let us know about this event?
Well, we are fortunate to have a lot of strong partners in so many countries and in so many ways, including cyber media, which is promoting this event. What we need now is very significant amounts of sponsorship and funding support so that we can all work together to go ahead and achieve these very ambitious and noble goals
And bring the changes.
and bring the change.
Thank you so much, sir.